Alright, hey, he's Mega here with another Sur Ron Light Bee video, alright? So, I got a new wheel for my bike, okay? So, Hayes Mega has decided he's going to go with a 16-19 inch wheel setup for the dirt bike configuration, okay? What I was running before was I had the stock 19 rear and a 21 inch front. And I kind of didn't like it. I kind of don't like the way the 21 inch front behaves, okay? It is more stable in the dirt, and it rolls over bumps and stuff and dips and all that stuff a lot better. But I got a better fork now. Okay, so hopefully that'll be okay. But I liked the 19 inch front wheel better, okay? It just turns over better. It feels like it's lighter. And one thing I didn't like with the 21 inch front is when you hit a log, you know, it goes straight up and the back hits it and then it goes down like this. It does this kind of splat thing. Alright, and I didn't like that. With the 19 inch setup, I never had that problem. It would just kind of just go up over and then it would just kind of launch and then go down, alright? And I noticed the Cape Caulk does the exact same thing. The Cape Caulk has bigger wheels than the Sur Ron, so maybe even bigger wheels. Maybe just bigger wheels is just not ideal for Hayes Omega's riding style, as I would say, alright? And I also have a KLX 140, and the KLX 140 runs a 16-19 inch front setup. Yeah, 16 rear and a 19 inch front for a 19 inch for the front. All right, and I was pretty happy with that setup. All right, I think for a mini bike, you probably don't want anything bigger than a 19 on it. All right, of course, if you wanted a bike to be really a lot taller than it was before, then yeah, maybe like an 18-21 inch setup is the way for you to go, okay? But I decided to go with the 16, all right, because a mini bike, it fits Hayes Omega okay. Hayes Omega is a little bit too big for a mini bike. All right, so I'll admit I'm a little too big for this bike, all right, just a little bit, all right. I think if I was any taller, I'm 5'10", 175 pounds. If I was any taller or heavier than that, then maybe this bike would be a little too small for me, okay? So those of you that are taller than me, you probably want to go with a bigger wheel setup, right? But I think this fits me just right, is what I want to say. All right, so where did I get the wheel from? I bought it from the same place I bought the 21 inch front from Stan3535 on eBay, all right? He's a dude that he makes wheels for Sur Ron on eBay. I know recently Warp 9 started making wheels for the Sur Ron, okay? But I don't know. I never seen their wheels. I never tried them out. I have Stan's front wheel and I like it, so. But I'm not going to go with it anymore. What Hayes Vegas decided to do is to sell the 21 inch front. All right, hopefully somebody will want to buy it. If not, shit, I'll run a 16-21 inch front. Well, maybe we can experiment. Maybe Hayes Vegas might like that. All right. So there it is. All right, I bought the entire wheel. All right. Why did Hayes Vegas buy the entire? Last time I just bought the rim. Well, it was, I think it's almost $400. I think it was around $400 for just the rim, all right? And that's not including the tire, the tube, or the rim lock, okay? And for $500, for an extra $100, you get a tire, you get a rim lock, and you get the tube, all right? A heavy-duty tube is what he says. I don't know what he put in there, but yeah. But there it is, okay? It's made by a company called Flow Wheels, I guess. I'm not really sure. I'll put a subtitle below who makes this wheel, alright? The last wheel Hayes Omega had was a Tusk Impact, alright? And I like that wheel. Alright, but here we are with this guy. All right, so this is a 16 by 1.85 inch wheel. So like I said, I got it for $400 on eBay from a seller named Stan3535, same person that sold me the 21 inch front. All right, and I've been chatting with him a lot. I've been messaging him a lot through eBay. So, okay, I'll talk about a little more why also I wanted to go with this after how much I bought it for. Right, so $400. Why did Hades Omega buy the one with all the wheels, the tires, and everything on it? Because it's already got the tire I want. All right, it's got the Shinko 525 cheater. Yep, it's a Shinko 525 cheater in 90/116. All right. And that was the tire that I was gonna buy for this bike, all right? So, and I'll tell you this is a rear wheel tire, okay? This is a rear wheel for a dirt bike, basically, all right? It's a 16 inch is a common size that big wheel mini bikes use, all right? Like my KLX 140 uses the exact same wheel, all right? And yeah, so it came with the tube over the $400 wheel that's bare. It came with the tube, the tire, and the rim lock. All right, so the tire is about $50, all right, give or take. Maybe somewhere in the area of $40 to $60 for this tire. I'll put a subtitle below how much the cheater goes for it. All right, and like I said, it's a rear tire, so none of this. You don't have to flip the tire around anymore. We're not using front tires for the front and back of the bike anymore. We're using a legit rear tire for the rear, all right? And it's much wider than the stock wheel. We can compare it with the stock wheel in a bit. Right? So let's just say the tire costs $50. A rim lock will run you about $20, and a tube will run you about $20, all right? More or less. It depends on what kind of tube you get, all right? This is supposed to be a heavy duty tube. I'd imagine you can get those for about $20. So you're already almost like $100 in the hole, all right? So, and he installs it for you, so that's less work for me to do also. All right, hopefully you install it the right way. Let me see if the drive is that way, the tire goes that way. Yeah, you install it the right way. That's good. So, okay, yeah, so that's less work for me to do. I don't have to put the tire on. All right, hopefully you put it on there good. All right, he's already got the rim lock on there. All that stuff I would have to do. I would have to drill it for the rim lock. I know a lot of rims these days, they come with a hole for the rim lock. If the wheel is on the rear of the bike, I highly recommend that you have a rim lock. Okay, if you don't have a rim lock, you're gonna rip that valve stem right off, and it's gonna suck, right? This bike is notorious for like shifting, like moving the valve stem. All right, I always find it crooked. All right, for the most part, this one looks straight. Okay, you put both of the nuts on this one. I put one nut inside and one nut outside. Okay, yeah, so I bought this for $500 from Stan. All right, and let's go take a closer look at it, and I'll tell you. Well, okay, let me tell you about another reason I wanted to go with the 16 is because the gearing. Okay, so this wheel is roughly the size of the 17-inch Supermoto wheel. All right, the tire's kind of bigger and it's taller because it has the knobs on it. So the gear ratio with this compared to the Supermoto wheel is not much different. All right, is what I want to say. It's a lot closer to the 17-inch versus the 19-inch. The 19 is like 2 inches taller. All right, this one is only 1 inch, so it's not much of a difference. So. Before I was running a 48 tooth sprocket and a 54 tooth sprocket, and those have the exact same gear ratio. That's why I kept it like that. It would give me the same torque as I was having with the Supermoto wheel, all right, with the 48, and that way I wouldn't have to swap. I wouldn't have to calibrate the speedometer every time I swap wheels. All right, so now I don't have to do that. Oh yeah, but I was running 2 different chains. All right, I had to run a chain for the 54 tooth sprocket, and I had to run a chain for the 48 tooth sprocket. All right, so this wheel is a lot closer in size to the 17, so I'm just going to run a 48 for both. All right, I'm going to run 48 for Supermoto wheel and 48 for my dirt wheel, and I only have to use 1 chain. All right, so no longer Hades Omega has to change the chain every time I swap wheels. So logistically, it works out better for Hades Omega. Okay. On the other hand, Hades Omega could have gone with an 18-inch or a 17-inch wheel. Okay, probably. I don't really know what other tires are in 17-inch, but like I said, I have a 16-inch on my KLX 140, and I like that setup on that bike, so I wanted to try a 16 on this. All right. Supposedly, this is a better wheel if you want a little more power for your bike, because I think it's, I don't know if it's lighter or not. We can weigh how much it weighs compared to the other wheel, is what I want to say. Yeah, we can weigh the difference between the two wheels. All right. I have my stock wheel still around, but I'm gonna have to take the sprocket and all that stuff on it before we weigh it. Okay. And it has a rim lock on it already too. All right, but yeah, so that was another big decision, whether I would want to stick with the 21-inch front or go with the 16 and use the stock front. In my opinion, the 21-inch front is hard to find tires for that thing, man. There's only one tire that fits, and it's a Dunlop K990, and I had hell of a time finding that tire, right? And it's expensive. It's like $80. It's an $80 tire, all right? You can get the tires for this rim for like $50, right? As much, yeah. So it's like almost half the price, the tire. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. All right, but I didn't have any problems with the K990. I actually kind of liked it. It was a good tire. So but it's about as wide as the 19-inch rim. I just want to say, okay. And like I said, I like the turn end of the 19-inch better, but yeah, so I wanted to go with this 16-19 because I could find more tires for the front, all right? I was running that Shinko F456, and I like that tire. It's a good tire, all right? It's kind of a good all-around tire, so I'm going to stick with that tire, all right? And I never really have any problems with the Sur Ron rear wheel, all right? But I never have any problems with the Sur Ron front wheel, all right? The front wheel seems like it's pretty sturdy. The rear wheel, I have to constantly tighten the spokes and stuff. I haven't cracked it yet, but they're pretty beat up. I have a dead spoke on it too, but it was kind of like that when I first bought the bike, so that's what I want to say. So in my opinion, I think the 16-inch wheel will be stronger because it's smaller and the spokes aren't as long, all right? So I think overall this will be a stronger wheel, and plus we'll get a little more power out of it compared to the 19 because the 19 is a larger diameter. And my bike has plenty of power, all right? So we're just going to add more to it, basically, all right? And we run the same sprocket, so I don't have to change the chain. So those are the big ones for that, all right? So the reasoning I wanted to go with the 1619 rather than the 1921 setup was it's easier to find front tires for a 19, all right? And we're using a legit rear motorcycle tire. Easier to find tires for a 16, easier to find tires for a 19, okay? It's smaller, so that means it's stronger, all right? It's stronger. Oh, and it's roughly the same size as a 17-inch Supermoto wheel, so I don't have to swap chains anymore. I could use the same 48 sprockets between them, and it'll have the same gear ratio, right? It'll have the same amount of power. I feel with the setup Hades Omega's running with the BAC 4000 and a 48-tooth rear sprocket, is just right, all right? It's just right. It has enough power to get it going. I just want to say, all right? Okay, so let's take a closer look at this, and then that'll be the end of the video. I will, we'll weigh the two wheels, all right? That'll be the last part of the video. We'll weigh the two wheels to see if there's any weight difference between them. I'd imagine they probably they're either weigh the same, or this might be a little heavier, because this has got a little more rubber than the 19, all right? And yeah, we can do some measurements between the tires and stuff, all right, with the caliper and stuff, okay? Yeah, this tire is pretty wide, and it's kind of more balloony, all right? The sidewalls are wider, so there's less chance of a rock striking it too. That's what I want to think, all right? But we'll take a look at that when we start measuring the tires, and then when I get the sprocket and the rotor off the other one, we'll compare the weights on them, okay? All right, let's take a closer look at this guy. Okay, here we are. A little up close and better look at the Stan3535 16-inch wheel for the Sur Ron Light Bee for the rear wheel, okay? So it comes with this black wheel, all right? I'm not really sure of the brand. I'll put a subtitle below. It says J16 by 1.85 dot, all right? So it's a 1.85 inch wide wheel, all right? It's definitely a wider wheel than a stock wheel, okay? Stock wheel is a 1.4 inch versus this 1.85 inch. So this is about half an inch wider, all right? but it is shorter by 3 inches, okay? The stock wheel is a 19, this one is a 16, and we'll compare the two in a bit. All right, so what does the Stan3535 16-inch special come with? All right, it comes with the wheel, all right, the 16-inch wheel. It comes with this Shinko 525 cheater tire. All right, this is a great tire. It's a, what is this? It's like a hybrid kind of knobby / trials tire. It is. It's super soft. All right, so it grips rocks really good, but it's also knobby too. So it works good in the soft stuff. It's a, that's why they call it a hybrid tire. It like combines the best of both worlds. So I'll say, okay. I've run it on my KLX and I was really impressed with how grippy it was. So I would like to run this. So we wouldn't be able to run this tire on the 19-inch wheel because that's a front tire, and you can only run the 524. That's the front wheel. That's the front tire. All right, this is a legit rear tire, okay? Okay, so yeah, you get this 525 cheater, you get the wheel, and then you get a tube, all right? So there's already a tube in here, a heavy-duty tube, and there's a rim lock right here, okay? What brand of rim lock, I don't know, okay? Hayes Mega is planning to, when I replace the tire, I'm probably going to put one of those Warp 9 titanium ones in, because I was planning to put one in my 19, but I wound up wanting to buy this one. So, okay, it's got black spokes. Okay, I wish he would just keep it silver so it would match my my front wheel, but that's okay, whatever. It's laced to a rear hub. It is a Sur Ron. It looks like it's a Sur Ron hub. All right, it says Sword EM01, all aluminum on it. All right, it looks very similar to the Sur Ron hub. I think it is just a Sur Ron hub. Okay, it's got all the bearings and all the goodies in there already. So you'll notice that there is no sprocket and there's no rotor on the other side. So you're gonna have to install your own rotor and sprocket. All right, it's not a big deal. I'm just gonna take the stuff off my old one and put. Actually, I got a Warp 9 sprocket that we're gonna put on this. Okay. So 16 by 1.85 dot. All right, let's take a look at the other side. This is the side that the, oh, never mind. This is the sprocket side. This is the rotor side, and this is the sprocket side. Wow. It's beefier. Okay, it says Flow Wheels here. I'm not really sure where they got this wheel from. It looks like a Sur Ron wheel. That's what it looks like. And Hayes Mega has no problem running the Sur Ron stuff anyways, because the Sur Ron stuff, it withstood all the punishment I put it through, is what I want to say. Yeah, Hayes Mega hates black wheels too, by the way, because whenever I spoon a tire on it, it scratches really badly. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of colored wheels. I just like plain aluminum colored wheels. That way if you scratch it, you can't really tell you scratched it, okay? Okay, there it is. That's what $500 gets you from Stan3535, the 16-inch rear, okay? Also, I want to point out that I'm going to have to lift my bike in the rear, all right? I bought the biggest lifting link from Warp 9, and I have not got it yet, man. Yeah, I haven't got it yet, so I don't know what the heck, man. So I'm still waiting for them to what's the word? Fulfill it. I'm still waiting for it to be fulfilled. I may just buy a prickly one if they don't get it to me in time, because I really need it. Now that we're running this 16-inch rear, we're gonna have to, since the front is a 19 and then the rear is a 16, that's a big difference in height. We're gonna need to lift the rear now, okay? So, which is good for the Supermoto setup too, okay? Because it'll rake it a little bit, and it'll give me a little more oversteer, is what I want to see. All right. Okay, the tire is a 90-116. It's a rear motorcycle tire. This is the 525 Cheater by Shinko. All right, and it's a tube type tire. Okay. Let's go compare it to the stock wheel, and then that'll pretty much be the end of the video. Alright, Hayes here. We're going to do our comparison between the two wheels real quick, and then yeah, that'll be the end. So, I'm not going to lie, I could not get the freaking rotor off my old wheel. Alright, I tried to heat it up with a torch. I tried everything, man, and I could not get it out. So, I think the only way you can get it out is if you grind the screws off and you drill through them. Yeah. It has dawned to me that I have never taken that rotor off of there, and it does not want to come off. Okay, I've never had that happen before. So I'm just going to leave it on there, and that'll be whoever buys this wheel, you know, is going to be their problem. All right. Hayes Mega was planning to use this wheel. Was planning to use that rotor on the new wheel, but you know, this one is all bent and stuff. I bent it, a lock headed or something. Okay, but anyway, so we can get the proper weights. We're gonna weigh the rotor, or we'll put the rotor on top of the wheel and then we'll weigh it. All right, I'm not gonna mount it. But I've taken the sprocket off of this. That one at least came off easily. All right, so we can do some measurements. All right, we'll do a metric and an inch measurements. All right, so okay, so we're gonna measure the overall wheel and tire diameters. Okay, so this has a Shinko 524. This is actually the front tire version of this tire right here. Okay, this is a Shinko 525. All right, let's measure the overall diameter. All right, and this looks like it's 23 and a half ish. Okay, and the 19 inch is, I'm trying to get from the tallest knob I can find. This is like 24 and a half. All right, so this is a full inch larger than the 16. Not much of a difference actually. Okay, we probably want to measure the supermoto wheel, so I might do a supermoto wheel comparison. Okay, now we can measure how wide the tires are. Okay, so this is a 90 and that's a 70. So it's you gotta figure it's probably 20 millimeters wider. It's a big difference, right? Let's go get Mr. Caliper out here. We'll measure from the side of the, let's measure from, it's kind of hard to measure. We'll measure from the sides of the tire. All right, I got a 90. Perfect, 90, right on the money. Okay, so that leads you to lead. This one is a 70. All right. So that's a full 20 millimeters wider. That is a big difference in traction and everything, all right, and stability. This is what Hayes Mega thinks. All right, this one is 60. This one's 65. Yeah, this one's 65. Wow, not as advertised. 65. So the 70 is actually like 65 millimeters, not really 70. Okay, I don't know. Maybe there's not enough tire pressure in it. I'm not sure, but yeah. So this is actually 65 versus 90 is 25 millimeters. This is 25 millimeters wider than that one, all right? And you can tell just looking at it. Let's pick it up. Just look at the side profile, the difference, all right? You can definitely tell this one is wider by just looking at it, okay? You can tell the knobs are much wider. Let's go measure the knobs between the rear and the front tire styles. We'll just that. Right, 20 millimeter knobs versus 18 millimeter. It's not that much off. These are weird. It's kind of like pyramid shaped. Let's do the side one. Yeah. So it's like 18. I'm getting like an 18-ish. 17, 18 versus a full 20. All right, these are more squared off. Yeah, so diameter wise, not really that much of a difference. All right, it's like an inch. All right, it's an inch overall. All right, we could measure the wheel, the rim size. All right, from the edge of the rim to the edge of the rim. This is actually a 17. Yeah, this is actually 17. Well, this wheel is 20. Okay, so yeah, so I guess the rim size, I think the rim is like, I think that when they measure it from the inside where the bead mounts. Okay, but this is like 1 inch bigger, or it's all, they're both 1 inch bigger than they should be. So this is a 17 and that's a 20. Okay, we can measure the spoke lengths. Okay, I'll go from the nipple to where it mounts in the hub. So I'm getting a 6 1/4 there. I think there's different ones too. I'm not sure, man. Yeah, so this one is 7.5. The other one was like, what, 6 1/4, 6.5. Yeah, 6 1/4. So 6 1/4 versus 7.5. Long spokes. Almost 7. It's almost 7.5. Yeah. Yeah. Almost 7.5. So 6 1/4, 7.5. So full, more than an inch. These spokes are more than an inch longer than the spokes that are on here. And in my opinion, that would make this wheel stronger, all right? Because these spokes aren't going to flex as much. So we probably don't need a thicker spoke. Now, I've been using this wheel on my bike, and my bike has a lot of power, all right? I'm pushing pretty much 12 kilowatts, almost 13. And it's been able to handle it. But I do notice that this wheel kind of, it feels wobbly and it kind of squirrely. Even if I tighten up the spokes, the wheel isn't very strong, right? It's not very, yeah, it doesn't feel very stiff. So I would imagine this one will feel a lot stiffer, simply because like it's probably, I don't know what the gauge. Let's go see how thick the spokes are on the stand wheel. 2 3/4 millimeter. All right. Stock Light Bee. 2.8. Actually, so the new one's actually smaller. No, 2.6. I know I'm getting different sizes, guys. 3. No, oh, I'm not holding it straight. 2.5. They're roughly the same, I think. Yeah, it's hard to get a good measure. 2.6. Yeah, so 2.5, 2.6 millimeters. They're the same. So this should definitely be stronger than this, okay? And in rigidity, all right, or stiffness of the wheel, this should be much stiffer than this wheel. This wheel will flex a lot, and I know it does. It feels like the back kind of wobbles a lot. It doesn't feel confident. It doesn't feel planted. I feel that this one will be much stronger because if the spokes are an inch shorter, they should flex much less. All right. All right, and we got to make sure we keep the tension on these. Supposedly, Stan mentions that you should retorque or tighten your spokes after the first 3 rides. All right, and like you should be always checking your spokes after like a ride, see if you got any loose ones. All right. I do know that this one has a dead spoke. Oh, there it is. That's the dead spoke right there. I was supposed to take the tire off and fix that, but I wound up buying new wheels. Doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So for our last trick, we'll go weigh how much the wheels are. Okay. To be fair, we will. I will make sure the tire pressures are the same. All right. I got it set to 15 psi. That's what I run off road. You can run a lower tire pressure if you want. I would say this tire would be safer to run a lower tire pressure. Yeah, I got it right on the money. Good job. Okay, I'm just gonna read it off to you because it's gonna be kind of awkward getting it on there. All right, stock wheel with the rotor is 13 pounds 9.8 ounces. Okay, 13 pounds 9.8 ounces. I'll put a subtitle below. With the rotor, all right, 15 pounds 9.2 ounces. 15 pounds 9.2 ounces. All right. Okay, so the difference about 2 pounds. All right, so this is 2 pounds heavier than this. Also, this has a rim lock. All right, so that was like a fair comparison. I've got it's got heavy duty tube. It's got a rim lock. I put the rotors on there. Yeah. Okay, so that was a fair comparison right there. This one's a little bit lighter. So, in terms of unsprung weight, this one is going to be actually worse on your power. Okay, but it will give you more torque because it's a little bit it's like a little more than an inch diameter wise compared to this one. So you'll gain a little more torque out of it. All right. So one thing I want to make sure is what's the difference between a supermoto wheel. Last quick comparison. I want to see what the difference between the diameter difference between the 16-inch and the 17-inch, because the reason Hazy Mega bought this wheel is because it's almost the same size as this wheel. All right. So let's measure it again. I think it was like 17 something. No. Overall, 23 and a half. Knob to knob, 23 and a half. Let's go with 23 and a half, okay? Might have been different than last time. I don't know. All right, this one doesn't have any knobs, so it should be easier. All right, this one is 23 and a half. It's perfect. All right, so I'd imagine when the knobs start to wear out on this one, it's gonna throw the speedometer off a little bit. It's gonna tell you you're going a little bit faster than you're really going. But for the most part, these are pretty much the same diameter, all right? Even though this wheel's an inch smaller than that wheel, okay? Cool. I think these are the same width too. 1.85, I don't know. Let me see. Okay, this wheel is about, this is 2.15 width, all right? So this is actually wider than that wheel. That might be why the diameters are about the same. All right, because it's actually wider, so it actually makes it might make it a little taller, I'm not sure. Okay, but compared to the KLX 140 wheel, it's the same size, all right? The KLX 140 uses a 1.85 inch rear, okay? Okay, so there you go. That is the end of the show and tell for my new 16-inch rear wheel. I will go do a review on it later once we go dirt biking with it, okay? We'll be using it with the 19-inch front, all right? We'll be running the 19-16 combo, and I'll tell you guys what I think about it, okay? But I think it should be better, in my opinion. And I know, like I said, logistically speaking, I would rather run this because it's the same. We are going to use the same sprocket on this, and it will have about the same ratio. It will have the same gear ratio, and I could use the same chain, so I don't have to play this game of changing the chains anymore because it's a real big pain in the ass on the Sur Ron to change the chains all the time, all right? So we're going to run similar size wheels with the same size sprockets. Okay? So that's what makes this worth it for Hazy Mega. It's logistically, it's better for Hazy Mega too. Okay? All right, Hazy Mega. I got to get a new rotor for this one too. Thanks for watching.